Greetings and welcome to SmartwatchTicks.com. We've got a box here from Lokmat, and this is an enhanced upgrade to an already really nice ruggedized smartwatch, the ATTACK line. This is the ATTACK 3. As an upgrade to the ATTACK 2, it's adding a bunch of great stuff like Bluetooth calling, speaker on board, remote music playing out of the watch from all the music you have on your phone, and apparently some additional biometric stuff like ECG reporting. Let's take a look, get inside of it, and see it's just as ruggedized with the Lokmat buckle as the original ATTACK 2. But like I said, this is the ATTACK 3. And like the ATTACK 2, we get this one from TomTop. It's a 1.28-inch TFT full screen, IP68, I believe, smartwatch. Really decent price. Check the show notes for a link to head over there. Pick this puppy up. Let's look at a little bit of the feature list here. Bluetooth call, a health monitor that automatically does your heart rate, ECG, blood pressure, blood oxygen, sleep data. Great. You've got 8 professional sports for doing your activities, and smart reminders built into it for synchronizing messages, social media, whatnot. User-defined watch faces in here. IP67 waterproof, okay, not for bathing, diving, or sauna. In fact, not really for getting wet, which is unfortunate because its appearance is really strongly ruggedized. But it's not one of those 5 ATM go swimming and splash around watches, so be careful around water with this one. Huge battery, 600 milliamp hour battery. That's what you get in the Android watches. And of course, they make Android smartwatches, so they've got this battery technology down already. And a bunch of other rewinders, music controls, remote camera capability, all that. Here's some of the languages. Oh, look at this. Bluetooth 3.0 and 4.0. I thought it was Bluetooth 5, but that's what the specs say. So you might have a little bit of a range problem, so don't get too far away from your phone if you're going to be streaming phone calls. Android support languages, the app, and the watch languages. And then here's the overall specs at the bottom. And here it says IP68, so I don't know. Just still be careful if you get it wet. Let's dive deeper in here. We'll take it out of its packaging. Remove it from the box holder, and you'll find it's a very large and relatively heavy watch because of that battery in here. Looks like 2 buttons. That is not a camera. Nope, it's just a little holding spot. I guess they're using a similar packaging to an Android watch or so that might have the camera there. Kind of looks like the APP-LLP6, huh? In its rugged formation. Anyway, it's here. You can see the screen protector is on the screen. And on the back, we've got diodes and a charging port, which means we should have all of that stuff in here. This is all in a box. And in the box, yep, we've got the user manual and the wire. Now, because this one is not really set up to move music and data to the watch, you don't have to worry about the data transfer aspect of it. It's doing its music playback, like I said, from music that's on your phone. It'll just Bluetooth stream it to the watch. Magnetic couple, and strong enough to hold this heavy-duty watch, so that's a good thing. And it's an interesting design. You see how it kind of contours and fits over the pins that are sticking up. Never seen that, really. Well, I probably have. I just don't remember it. You know, hundreds of watches here. Anyway, that's a cute and interesting design. It pushes the pins closer to your skin, which might be trouble for when they get wet. But this is raised as well, so it's actually a little bit lower than the surface of the back of the watch. You don't want to get water too much on the watch. And sweat is considered water as well. We're looking at the Fundo Health app with this one, and these are the QR codes you can scan. But again, I recommend you go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and download it, or use the link below if you want to get the Android version of it from the Google Play Store. Charging information, the various watch faces that are on the watch, and feature introduction, the different things that this thing can do, and some troubleshooting stuff, and then their exemption clause. Okay, and that's it for the English language. So we will charge this up with a 600 milliamp hour battery and turn it on for you. A press on the top button, hold it, and boots up almost instantly. Improper quota usage. Not sure what that is, but we're in our Lokmat boot up logo, and then we're into our opening watch face. So with all the things going for this watch, Bluetooth calling, ECG, why am I recommending you not buy this one? Whoa! You don't hear Mr. Tick say that very often. Well, I'm really not happy with it. I've had a couple of days now playing with it, and it's just fraught full of problems. The ECG, 100% fake, with a brand new app too. Doggone it, Fundo. I tell you, when we get into that, I'll get on my soapbox, but if you're thinking you want this because it has ECG, it does not. But boy, they've improved how good they can fake it. The time. You think a watch would tell time. I have to manually set this. If I go in and I try to do it over the connection to the phone to get the time from the phone, it gives me crazy time, and it jumps all around. Really strange. Had to actually switch it to manual. And waterproof? I don't know. IP68 it says. It looks like it might be, but with all the other specs not matching up right, I'm not about to put it in water. Oh, and Bluetooth calling. Yeah, I cannot get it to connect to Bluetooth for calling to the phone. So with those things aside, if you don't need it for Bluetooth, if you don't need it for ECG, if you just think it's a pretty little watch with a 600 milliamp hour battery going to give you a lot of battery life, by all means, for the price, you could pick it up, about $45. Let's walk through it and see what it does do. When I swipe down, I get the date and some information. There's your brightness control, and you can see you can get this thing really nicely bright, or down to a nice nighttime kind of a dim. I'm running it on a level 2. You have Do Not Disturb right there, and it says BLE with a double arrow like it's a fancy connection. Remember, it said Bluetooth 3 and 4 for connection. And yeah, not Bluetooth 5. The one before this was a Bluetooth 5.1 or 5.2. And the timeout and the twist your wrist interfere with each other as well on this one. If I swipe up, nothing happens. If I go to the left, I get into my activities. There's no GPS in the watch, and I see it went out, and I'm supposed to be on a 30-second timeout here. Walking, running, hiking, and so forth. It does have some interesting stuff when you get down here. By the way, I didn't see swimming in here, and it's an IP68 watch. It has history. If you have any activities, they'll be there. And it has the settings where you can set a pace reminder, goal time, daily reminder, goal mileage, and per mile reminder. A couple of those are new. I haven't seen a pace reminder before. That could be fun to play with if you're into that kind of stuff. And this gets us back here, so we can loop back and forth this way between your activities and this screen. Go this way now, and we get into our whole app drawer. Go into the dialer, put in a number, attempt to dial. So you want to connect, you say connect, searches for the device, never finds it on the phone. You compare it of some sort, but it says you need the app to do anything, and there's no support in the app for it either. So although I'm seeing all this Bluetooth calling with call logs and phone book, I'm not able to get into it. There's a notifier, and I just jumped to the next. So this goes in groups of 4. Sport we just looked at. Pedometer, there's your step count. By the way, you get to the pedometer by pressing this button as well. Okay, and that's all it does is toggle between the two. You can't really do much. Oh, good. Okay, so you can. You can set your height and weight and gender and all that kind of stuff. I usually go female. Done all this already in the app, and it transfers over, but nice to know you can do it right here from the button as well. We were back here looking at sport pedometer, sleep monitor. Here's last night's sleep time. No fancy graphics. History just shows you your deep and light sleep. That's pretty much it. A little bit more in the app. You're going to see that in a minute. Alipay, you don't have access to that, of course, outside of China. And there's no NFC that I know of in here. This is a QR code kind of an arrangement for Alipay, and it's not something we really work with unless you're actually in China. Heart rate, blood pressure, blood oxygen, and ECG. You want to go through those? First of all, there's supposed to be continuous heart rate. Come here. I should get the green diodes. Oh, by the way, when you're looking at the bottom of that, you notice there's no electrical plates. It's a nice solid glass or plastic surface. And there's what looks like emulated plates here, but they're not actually electrical like these are. When it touches your skin, there's no electrical contact. Keep that in mind when we get to the ECG part. Okay, for this I got to put it on. Gonna start the heart rate, and you have to actually hit the start button down there. And now it's using green diode technology to get your heart rate in beats per minute. And it will transfer that one data point to the app. But, as it talks about it in the specs, 24-hour continuous heart rate, not supported. A lot of things are not matching up right. So, yeah, not really happy with this one, and a recommendation as a health device, because you don't have continuous heart rate, you don't have continuous blood pressure, although it will do a reading. I'm not going to take the time to do it, but show you that it's using the green diodes for blood pressure. It has blood oxygen in it, and it does, hello, get started. Remember, I'm so used to them, you just land there and it, boom, it goes into it. But this one you have to actually start. And it uses both the green and the red diodes. You see that? So I'm presuming that the oxygen level is going to be more accurate. But then I get to the ECG, and this just blows my mind. Now I land on it, and it's actually started. You see a simulated chart here. This is just a moving graphic, obviously. Nobody's heart rate looks like that. It's coming up with a heart rate, not an ECG chart here. But supposedly it's recording an ECG chart within here. But I'm not touching it. Those of you who've seen the channel know that to do an ECG, you need a circuit that runs through your heart. 2 plates on the bottom, typically of a watch, and you got to touch a metal something or other on the watch to close the circuit. That's not required here. Why? Because it's not actually doing an ECG. I don't mind taking it off here, as long as it says, please correct the wear. As long as I cover the diodes down here, I don't need to touch anything else on the watch. I can float this on my finger. As long as my finger's covering the back there, it will pick up and give me a heart rate, and it will continue doing the ECG. You'll see that chart that I produced doing exactly this in just a minute. You still with me? This is entertaining, if nothing else. Okay, so that's the ECG part of this. Those are your biometrics. Then you get into remote camera, Bluetooth music, find your phone, and sedentary reminder. Now, I can do the find your phone thing when we're tethered through the app to it, and remote camera will work. I haven't been able to get Bluetooth music or the Bluetooth calling to work. Basically, sedentary reminder you can set to tell you to get up and move around. You've got alarms, a stopwatch. You even have a calculator in here, which is kind of fun. Digits are pretty tiny, though, and no commas or anything. But it is a calculator, so you've got that. You've got a calendar showing you today's date and the blow-up of a calendar here, but you can't really do anything with it or schedule any appointments. Your overall theme, Theme 1, Theme 2 we were on. These are different, I'm not sure. Oh, they're the background. You see the little bubbles and stuff back there? There, you got kind of a lava flow or something in the foreground of it. Here's Bluetooth call. This is where it searches for a new device, and I put the phone in Bluetooth. I've tried all kinds of things to get it to work, and it just doesn't do it. Then your QR code. This is for scanning to download the Fundo Health, I believe it is, app. We'll look at that in just a second. I recommend you use the Google Play Store, especially with Fundo, if you're going to download the app and give it a try. It's not Fundo Wear. It's not Fundo Pro. It's a new app, and it's even trickier than the other two were on faking ECG. And then you have settings. Here's our Bluetooth settings. Power on, visibility on, should be hooked up and working. About this is the ATTACK 3. That's the name of it. Power saving mode, you can turn that on and extend your battery life, although I am seeing really good battery life with this thing, with that huge 600 milliamp hour battery. There's the clock, and this is where you can change the dial type. You can turn on synchronization, or you can put in date and time. I've had to turn this off in order to get the correct time on the watch. I don't know, because the phone is on the correct time. It's just bizarre how it doesn't pick it up properly. You got a couple of different watch faces, and I actually got quite a few. Here's a fancy bright one. Here's one we're starting to see show up on several watches. It looks like oh well, okay. We got to bail out of it to show you. We'll see that in a minute. What else have we got? New notification bright. If you get a notification, it'll wake the watch up if you want to turn that on. Motion is your wake up, twist your wrist to turn it on. I'm actually going to turn that off because it's interfering with the timeout that I've set for 30 seconds on this. Fast payment. Well, obviously we don't have Alipay, so that doesn't apply. You can change your units from here, or you can do it from the app. It does do imperial and metric. And of course you've got sound and volume. Sound are the different sounds that it makes. Okay, let's listen to it. This is the best I'm going to get for you to listen to the speaker. Well, you hear that beeping going on? Okay, let's get the ring sound. It's okay. It would probably be loud enough for a phone call or to play music through it if you can get the thing to connect to do that. Notifications. You hearing that? Okay. All right, and that's full 6. You got international, which is your different synchronizing your languages. You can turn that off and get access to the languages that are supported on the watch. We'll show you a few of them. I hope they're not going too fast for you. Interesting mix. And not too many. Okay, it's set for English, and of course it was set to auto-sync to the phone language. Dynamic dial sounds. I have no idea, and I haven't been able to get this thing to work. You turn it on, and I guess you're supposed to get sounds when you change dials. And then you can reset the thing too. And those are the overall settings. Now, QR code, and that's it for all of the things that we have here. See the dots at the bottom, and then we loop back to the top. So come back here, and there's that watch face I was showing you. And if I press and hold, I can show you a couple of more. Here's one that I downloaded from the app. And you can see we've got a black bezel on the inside, then we've got this thick bezel on the outside. So your effective diameter is what, 1.28, not even 1.3 inches, made up for by having a big burly bezel around the watch. All right, at this point I want to switch over and show you the app and blow your mind on an ECG you've never seen before. When you go to the Play Store and search under Fundo or Fundo Health, you'll get these things, and you see that Shenzhen is the source for Pardon me if I'm mispronouncing Chinese words there. I'm kind of making an English guess at them. It's the source company behind the Fundo Health, Fundo Wear, and Fundo Pro. There's also, looks like, Fun Run here. We're going into Fundo Health. That's the one that's recommended for this, and we open it, and I'm already here on the front page because we got it all set up already. It's kind of nice, the layout of all of the cards in here. You have a motion record, and if you have any sporting history, it's going to show up in here theoretically. You also have your overall step count with bar charts showing you your steps, and the maximum steps per the hour are shown right there with a total number of steps and what percentage is completed. You can, of course, view this on weekly or monthly basis. So it looks nice, and I love the drop shadows and the rounded corners on here. Good attention to detail. Last night's sleep, this looks like this. We're not getting REM, but we're getting light and deep and wide awake. Not truly representative of last night's sleep, because I was up between midnight and 2 a.m. for a while, and it didn't pick that up. But it's giving me a nice score of 92, and here's our total times, and again, you can see bar charts on a weekly basis. Oh, I'm sliding my brightness up. You guys know about that display brightness. We show it to you on the Android watches all the time. I use it on my phone too. Yeah. Look in the show notes at the very bottom if you want to go over and download that app. It's not in the Play Store anymore. Display brightness, wonderful little slider thing. But I digress. Here's our heart rate. There's our 24-hour continuous heart rate. Not. I have that one reading that I did, and you'll only get individual readings on here. Very disappointed because almost any watch these days does continuous heart rate. Same with blood pressure. I get one basic reading. I can't go into it. I don't get a graph. Here's yesterday, today. I only got that one. Blood oxygen, no data, it says. You saw me just do one, and I just resynchronized this. Let's sync it again, because we are at 2,300 steps. Just make sure that it's pulling in the blood pressure and the heart rate readings that we got. Okay, it just made a sound. There we go. Heart rate, just still the same one. Recent heart rate was 84 at that time. Blood pressure, same reading, and blood oxygen. Now we've got a most recent one right there at 96. But we're not getting any nice graphics and charts and details that you could use to infer how your health is. So very limited, in my opinion, on the biometrics readings. And there's no ECG here. Why? Because that's going to be way over here. This gets you to a map of your location, and you can activate an activity, running or walking or whatever you want, and you can make a track on the phone with that. We've seen that before. No GPS in the watch. So jump over here. You can set up notifications and application protection so it'll run in the background and all of that stuff. You can take a picture remotely, find your device. If I tap that, you hear that? That's how loud the speaker is. I can say okay. So we know that that's working. We're tethered, but we can't Bluetooth call. There's your raise your hand. You saw me turn it off. There's my unit settings. I can change them here. Centigrade and Fahrenheit, although there's no weather on this watch. And then there's ECG detection. Here we go, guys. Okay. This screen has no activation on here, but if I leave this screen alone and I come... mostly sunny, that's nice. Okay, getting a notification. If I come over here and I get down here to the ECG and I activate it, it immediately goes into ECG as I showed you before, or supposedly. And what it's doing is looking at that red green diode in the back to determine the heart rate, just as if you were taking your heart rate. There's no electrical connection. However, as soon as you start seeing the heart rate show up here, the watch, Bluetooth tethered, is going to start showing you what it considers is a heart rate. Here we go, 92. Now, tell me, guys, Feel free to look at any of the other videos of anything I've done, particularly the GoWellU.com, ECG, chest straps, finger things, all the different ways we collect ECG information, the AI interpretive apps that can actually read an ECG and tell you if there's an anomaly. Look at any of those charts and tell me if any of them look anything like this. No. This is bizarre. I don't think any medical doctor, anybody in first year med school would look at this and say that's an ECG chart. But nonetheless, the watch is producing a 30-second stream of this consciousness here, and without touching the watch at all, and it says it's process receiving ECG instructions to the uneducated. This could seriously look like it's attempting to get you an honest ECG. It even puts it on the graph paper, shows you your speed and gain and time, all of the things that a true ECG would have and would look like. And for that alone, if nothing else, yeah, I'm on my soapbox, I definitely give a do not buy recommendation to this to even continue to promote any watch that tethers to this app, because it's a serious failing in China for them to allow this app to fake ECG with such attempted accuracy and completeness that could fool people into a sense of health if they actually are using this data for anything other than entertainment. So, we don't have an accurate time on this unless you set it manually. We can't get Bluetooth calling on it. We've got a fake ECG. Here it says to app, and that says, go to the app to see it, because you don't see anything on here. We don't have continuous heart rate. We don't know for sure if blood oxygen is working. There's no electrodes. Here you go. What is it? It's by Lokmat, and sorry to say it tarnishes Lokmat's name in my opinion, because they've got some real quality Android smartwatches. We just looked at the APP 4 and 7. I'm going to be showing you the 6 soon, which is ruggedized just like this. And they're good quality. They're good watches. I don't know what happened on this one, but it's supposedly a health sports watch. And the ATTACK 3. Check out the ATTACK 2. Got a review on that one. No, there's no Bluetooth calling in it. No, there's no ECG in it. But it's a nice looking watch, and it does some great stuff, and cheaper price. And since these other functions aren't working at all, yeah, it might be a better buy. TomTop, thank you for sending this out. I know you respect that I do honest reviews, and we'll continue sending good products to us to look over. And we'll see you again soon, gang. Thanks for sticking all the way to the end if you did. And I hope this helps guide you in what this watch can and can't do.